we're going to start making Scooby-Doo. As you can tell, he's a 3D figure, and we're going to start today with his face. And we're going to do it in two parts, really. We're going to do the bits that need to sit on a holding hook, or if you don't have a holding hook, a pencil, toothpick, something like that, which are going to be his ears, his snout, his chin, and his tongue. So we're going to do those, and then we're going to put them all onto his face so that we can build his face to start with. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to start by doing his snout. Okay, so we're going to take our single loom, and it's going to be in a standard configuration, which means all columns are going to be the same height. We're going to be using brown bands and two black bands, and also a couple of mini pony beads, and I'm using white. The colours you're going to need are black, brown, a couple of pink for his tongue, and that's about it for his face. So let's get started. We're going to be double banding. As I said, the loom is going to be standard configuration. The arrows are facing towards you. If you're not using arrows, it's the open part of the peg facing towards you. Now we're going to need to go starting about here. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th peg from the top is where we're going to start, and we're going to be double banding, as I said. So place 2 bands on your peg as if they were one. If you can see that it's twisted like mine is, just put your hook around the inside and it does become less twisted and tangled on itself. So we'll start with the snout. Push your bands down. At this stage we've been using brown, but we're going here to use, and I'm going to do 3 black bands for his little nostril bit so that it stands out a little more than normal. Then back to 2 bands. So the only ones that are 3 bands are the black ones here. So like this. Now I'm going to take a single band and stretch it like a triangle over these 3, and again we'll do that here like that. And these are just our crossover bands to keep things in place. Let's take a single brown band and wrap it once and twice, and we're going to slide that on to a pair of brown bands and another pair of brown bands. Now the loops on your hook are going to go up here. Poke your hook through the end cap and stretch that down here. So you skip that peg and go to here. Do the same on the other side. Single band, wrap once, twice, 3 times. Slide onto a pair and slide onto another pair, and the loops go here at the top. Push your hook through the end cap and I think I did that 4 times. It doesn't matter if you do it 4 or 3, it depends how loose your bands are. Skip this peg and go to this peg here. I'm going to do the same on this side. Single band, wrap it once, twice, 3 times, slide on. Now this time we're going to do an extra pair. So 1, 2, and 3, like that. And the loops go here, and then dig your hook through the end cap and stretch it out, and that is going to go here on the very bottom like that. And we'll do the same on the other side. single, 1, 2, 3, wrap it onto this pair and another pair and one more pair, and the loops on your hook go here, push your hook through the end cap and it goes at the very bottom here. Alright, now we are going to loop this up, and what we're going to do is use these as our end caps. So dig down past that, grab the 2 top bands which go to the center here. Same on the other side. Grab the 2 top bands and move to the center. Then dig down and find the bottom bands and they loop up. Like that. Push things down because it's going to get a bit crowded. Dig down and we loop up. Loop up. You're just trying to find those 2 bottom brown bands. And it's difficult when you've got quite a few bands on the same, like there's only one there. There's the second. Loop up, loop up, loop up. Now when we get to the middle here, we're going to take the top 2 and loop to one side and the other 2 and loop to the other side. Okay, so we're going to need, because you can see that we've done that, you're going to need a single band, stretch it, figure 8, dig down, grab that, pull it through, and this is going to be one set that we tie off with. Now I'm going to use a holding hook, okay, so I'm going to put my holding hook through there because we're using this later. I'm going to do the same over here, single band, figure 8 and loop it, and I'm going to put my hook down here, grab that band, pull it back and hold it. Now again, I want that on the holding hook, so what I'm going to do, this can come off, it's quite safe. I'm going to grab that onto my holding hook, take my looming hook out and gently take this off my loom, making sure that I don't lose those. Alright, so this is going to be his snout. Okay, and I'm just going to keep that on this holding hook for the time being. We need to do his ears and his bottom of his lip and his tongue. So to do his ears, we're going to start with 2 brown bands and another 2 brown bands. Now please remember, you can pause me anytime you like, okay? This is not a race and you go at your own speed. I'm going at my speed and this is the speed that's comfortable for me, but if it's not comfortable for you, pause me, restart me, whatever. It's completely up to you, okay? I get a lot of people saying, oh, you're going too fast. Well, I'm going my speed. You have control of the video. So this is going to be our first ear. Take a single band, wrap it once, twice and 3 times, and we're going to place that here on the end. Alright, dig down, find your 2 bands and we'll loop up, 2 top bands, loop up, like that, and this is going to go on our holding hook as well. This is our first ear. Okay, and we're going to do another ear. Stretch it out into shape a little bit. Let's do another one. 2 bands, 2 bands, 2 bands, and another 2. Wrap your single band once, twice, 3 times, and it pops on here. Dig down, find those 2 bottom bands and loop up. 2 top bands and loop up, and then the bottom 2. Just keep looping these up, and there is our second ear, like that. We have the bottom jaw to do, and we have his tongue. Now his tongue, all I'm going to do is take a single pink band, wrap it once, twice and 3 times, and take a pair of pink bands and slide those on like that. His tongue is not very big. If you have a look here, it's not very big. There's the end cap, there's the tongue, and it's sitting on a brown band. So what I'm going to do is take a brown band and slide that on like that, so that I'm ready to place that. I'm not ready yet, but I will be. I'm going to place that on my holding hook, just like that. Okay, let's do his bottom jaw. His bottom jaw again is very small. It's just kind of like how we do the tail on a mermaid. Okay, so what we're going to do is you have 2, 2, 2 there, and 2. Actually, I should lift this one up so it goes one peg above, like that. Okay, I'm just going to twiddle my hook around the outside or the inside of those. I'm going to put an end cap here, single band, wrap it once, once, twice, 3 times. The reason I'm doing it 3 times, these are a DIY brown band that I got. I found them on Amazon, but if you have a look, they're extremely stretchy. So I'm sort of working with the stretchiness that I have, that I'm using. So to make things tighter, I might do 4 loops instead of 3 loops. If it's nice and tight for you at 3 wraparounds, that's fine, just do 3. It completely depends on the bands that you're using. So loop that one to the side, this one loops up, this one loops up, comes off the loom and over to here, and then you loop those up together with that, and this is going to be the bottom of his mouth once I get it all untangled there. So that's going to be the bottom of his mouth. Again, let's keep that on our holding hook until we're ready. So we've got quite a bit on our holding hook to do. So now we're going to change the configuration of our loom. Pop out that center column and move it up a tiny bit so that it sits higher than columns 2 and 3. That makes it in an offset configuration. All right, the arrow is still pointing towards you, and we're still going to be double banding. 2 bands, place them on the pegs together as if they were one. All right, make sure you push things down. That's the other thing. You don't want everything to be too crowded at the top of your pegs. You want things pushed down. So let's place a couple of bands so that we can start placing the features of our little Scooby-Doo figure. So once we get here, I'm going to use a single band and stretch it to use as a crossover band. And I'm going to keep going down just a little bit further so we can place eyes and eyebrows. Now, eyebrows, you're going to take a single black band, put it through your hook and wrap once, twice and 3 times, and slide that onto a single brown band. And that is going to go from here to here, okay, like that. Let's do the same for the other side. A single black, wrap once, twice and 3 times, and slide onto a single black band and place here and here. For his eyes, I'm using my 2.75 crochet dude hook because it fits these eyes down very nicely. I'm going to take a single black brown band, slide the eyes on like that, and stretch it across these 2 pegs here. Now normally I would take the top part and put over the top of that peg. This time I'm taking the bottom part and placing it under this peg down here to make his eyes look at a slightly different angle. Okay, now these 4 pegs are where we're going to put the snout, but obviously we need more things happening down here. So let's put another set of brown here and here, and another set here. These are pairs, and here, and I'm going to be doing, let me just do this one here, a crossover band there, so it's a single that you've put in the shape of a triangle like that. Okay, just so that it's all tied together really. And then I'm going to take 2 and place them from here to here, and I'm going to take another 2 and place from here to here, and then I'm going to do an end cap here. So take a single band, wrap it once and twice, and that is going to sit here. Now, as I said, we're going to be putting his snout on these 4. Before we do that, let's place his lower jaw. So I've taken it off the holding hook, and these are the bands. Okay, so I'm going to place one side here, and I've just lost one band, so I'm going to just redo that. 1 second. I was trying to be too clever, wasn't I? Alright, let's take those 2 bands, let's do that again. Thankfully it's nice and easy. Okay, so one side here, I'm going to go under this peg here and then put the other side there. So that's his jaw, the bottom part of his jaw sitting here under this. Alright, his tongue, I'm going to take that off my holding hook and try not to, oh, I did it again. There we go. Come back here, jaw. Tongue. Goodness me. So that one side is going there, and the other side over there. And again, I'm going to pull that down so it's sitting under this peg here. Alright. I'm going to place his ears next. And we're going to put one pair on that peg, and the other pair on that peg, like that, and the same on the other side. One pair here and the other pair here, like so. Alright, and these will twist and turn, you can do them how you like. Now, his snout. This is the side I want the V pointing upwards. That one is not as nice, so I'm going with this side. Okay, so first and foremost, let's do the top part. You can see you have 4 loops here and 4 loops here. These first 4 loops are going to go on the pegs, like these 4 go on this peg, these 4 go on this peg. I'm going to use another hook to help me, but it's completely up to you how you do it. So I've taken those 4 and I'm placing them, trying to place them there we go, on that peg there. Then these ones on the opposite side here, like that. Now if you have a look here, you can see that you've got these 2 loops here and here and here and here. These are the loops that we're going to be placing. So put your hook through and these loops get placed here, and then these ones, these 4 loops, get placed here. I know it's crowded. Once it's all locked in, it will make sense. Alright, so we're ready to lock in. We've got our end cap there. Let's lock everything into place so that nothing goes walkabout. Dig down past the end cap and grab the 2 top brown bands and loop them to the corresponding side. In my case it's to the right. Do the same for the left, like that. Now this middle one has to go above here, but we need it to go, we need to go under these. So what we're going to do is lift the tongue and hold the end caps, lift that, dig down, grab those 2 bands and place them over, and then replace those under this peg. When we loop this peg in, make sure that we don't lose that. What we'll do is we'll loop those in first, okay, so we don't lose anything. Dig down, find the bottom 2 brown bands and loop up. Again this side, bottom 2 brown bands and loop up. Now we need to loop these up to here, bottom 2 brown bands and loop up, bottom 2 brown bands and loop up, and to secure them we're going to go one more time down the bottom here, find those 2 bottom brown bands and loop to the eyes. So now we can sort of do our flip top head without worrying that all of this is going to come apart. Lift the snout up a bit, okay, dig down. Now you want the bottom jaw and the tongue under this. Find those 2 bottom bands and loop up. Now these can come out, it really doesn't matter. You're going to do the same with the top. You're going to lift that out the way, find the bottom 2 bands and loop up. The snout is all locked into place now. Dig down, bottom 2 bands, loop up, loop up, loop up, and let's do the sides, side to side for the ears. One side and 2 side. Take 2 brown bands, dig down past all the bands on that peg and stick your hook out the side. Grab those 2 brown bands and we're going to pull it back and up to the back side of this peg. Okay, it's behind this peg. Then take the 2 closest to you, up, over and off, and pull tight. The face is ready to come off the loom. I'm going to use a metal hook to help me. So let's just ease this off. Now something to remember is that under that snout is a peg there, and it's got lots of bands on it, so gently help those off. that off. Now his bottom jaw is just here, so we're just going to pull those end caps out. There's his tongue. With his snout, you can just ease that out a bit, especially the puffy sidey bits. There we go. 1 and 2. Make sure his eyes pop. And these loops we're just going to hide at the back here, behind the other bands at the back of his head. So slide your hook through and just gently draw them down so that you don't distort his head, but still so that we can hide them discreetly under here like that. So there's his snout and his tongue sticking out, and you can move it to the side or not. There's the bottom, his bottom jaw. You can paint his eyeballs on with a Sharpie if you choose to, and adjust his ears any way you want. But there is effectively the head of Scooby-Doo, and as I said, just adjust it into shape so that you're happy. Alright, we're going to make his neck next. So we've done his head. Next we need to do his neck, and his neck is going to fit here at the back. So we're going to take our single loom and pop out the middle row of columns and pop out the big base plate. Okay, we're still going to be using our brown bands, but we're not going to be double banding, and we are going to make sure that the open part of the peg is facing towards us. We're going to take a single band and figure 8 it like that on the peg, and the same and the same and the same. Alright, and then you take another band and place it on top, and just 2, okay, just 2. Taking your hook, you're going to take the bottom 2 bands and lift them up and over. Like that, and push everything down. So that was 2 rows. We're going to do about 8. So this is number 3. This is number 4. This is number 5. This is number 6. This is number 7. Now last one is number 8. sure you take the bottom two. Now what we're going to do is take the two at the back and move them onto the same pegs as the front ones. Okay. Like that. And then you're going to take the bottom two and lift over. Like that. And then we'll take these two off our loom. Okay, so you're left with, it's like a pencil topper that we use for a pencil topper, but we're actually going to place it here. And I guess if all you want is a Scooby-Doo pencil topper, well, voila, we've made one. So what we're going to do here is take a single band and stretch it so that it's tight. And how we want this laid, I'm just going to take this off my hook so you can see. We want to do under these, if you can look at the back here, you've got two sides here. Under this side here, and then the two bands on this side, and the two bands on this side, and then under those other pair of bands here, so that that is in the middle. Okay, grab the band that you had twisted on itself, and that is going to go under all of those, if we can get it through. That one needs to go over. There we go, like that. Okay, so it's secured like that. Now pushing it over so that you're working underneath it, reclaim the end of your bands like that. So this is actually going to flip over this way, so we'll work underneath it so that we can hide our knot. Take the two closest to you, up and over and off. Okay, and then what we're going to do is stretch these out and poke, I'm going to call it pencil topper for the lack of a better word, the neck, the pencil topper, through like that. And that has secured the neck in place. Now obviously you look at that, it's going to go all wibbly all over the place. We don't want that. This is the end of his chin. This end cap here is where we finished off his face. So what we're going to do is poke your hook through that, stretch it out, and again poke his neck through that, and that will secure his neck in place. And you don't want to pull it too taut because you don't want it to pull away from the top here of his head. And I can see I was hanging onto one of these bands, but it doesn't really matter how messy this looks at the end, because that's actually going to sit inside his body. Okay, that's going to go inside here, so it really doesn't matter. All you want to make sure is that you've got a nice secure neck, which we do have. This is going to practically be hidden by his blue collar anyway, and you've still got his chin here, so you still have the definition of it, but you can make that however tight, taut you want. Okay, so that is how we do his neck. Now let's put our loom back together. Make sure you put your column of pegs in the same direction so that all the pegs are facing towards you, and we're going to do standard configuration. Okay, you are going to need your hook with the base removal tool on the back, because we need to do we need to take these base plates off and move them forward to do his body. Okay, we're going to be doing double banding. Take two bands and place them on the pegs as if they were one. Now Scooby-Doo does have some black spots on his body. In this particular one I had not done any of those, but we can if you want to. It's not a problem, we can do that. Now these are going to go all the way down to the bottom of the loom. So it is going to take, I said it was a big project, it is going to take quite a few bands, and I have not counted them. Now the spots on his back are at the back of his back, not on his belly. So if you're going to do any spots, I would make sure that you're doing them. We're going to have 12 columns, so I would make sure that you're doing them in like the first 3, because then you've got 6 and 9 and 12. I would leave 6 and 9 free for his belly, and so I would do the black spots in either the first 3 columns or the last 3 columns. And how I would recommend doing them is making sure that you spread them out over 2 rows, 2 columns, I'm sorry, sort of like this. It's quite difficult to see, but those ones are the black ones. And I'd probably do them in columns 2 and 3 versus 1, because 1 and 12 are going to be stitched together. Put an end cap on each of these, a single band, wrap it once and twice, and that gets popped on the end of each column. 1 and 2. We're also going to do crossover bands. 1 and 2. They are single bands as well, that you're going to stretch across these rows. As we're doing 12 columns, I'm going to use each crossover band to go over 6 pegs. Let's loop this up, starting here down at the bottom, dig down past the end cap and grab the 2 bottom bands, and we loop up. And we're only going to loop up the first 2 columns to start with. Column 1, let's dig down and do the same here for column 2. Push those crossover bands back with the back of your peg, back of your hook, back of your peg. What on earth am I talking about? I haven't had a coffee yet this morning, so my brain is still mush. Alright, we're going to need a holding hook because we need to take column 1 off our loom and then turn it over and move the base plate and budge it forward. We can now take this column off and move it forward to do column number 4. It's going to be all brown. Don't forget that we're going to do an end cap, which is a single band wrapped once and twice and placed on the end here, and then pull your crossover bands over. We can now loop up this middle row, column. Push those crossover bands back with the back of your hook so that you're exposing just those bottom two bands. And we take column number 2 off. Move these base plates forward. And budge the column of pegs forward. This is column number 5. Stretch these crossover bands over. And loop up. Take this off the loom. This will be column number 6, so we're halfway there. this will be number 7. And now we're going to put a new layer, a new set, I should say, of crossover bands on, because it's already gone over 6. This was 6 and this is 7. So we put a new band going from 6 to 7. They're just single bands that you're stretching across. And now we loop up. And take this off. Oops, let's push that back on. I was being a bit violent there. Move across. Now we're on 8. Do your end cap. And we loop up. So that was 8. Let's take this one off. And let's do number 9. Push these all down. end cap and stretch across. And loop up. Off the loom, and move our base plates, and our column of pegs, and this will be number 10. So for number 10 I am again going to be using a few black spots, and I'm going to do 2 here and 2 here, and I'm going to do 2 here, and I think that'll be it for this column. So before I actually put these ones here, I just put those there so I know where they're going. I'm going to do the browns first and then the black, like that, so that they're placed in the correct order. Mustn't forget our end cap, and pull them across. We're now ready to loop up our middle. And let's take this one off our loom. Move your base plates. We'll be doing column number 11. So move your column. I'm going to start with the black so that his spot is defined, like that, and then to some brown. Oops. And I have another pair of black here, so I'm going to put black there, and now more brown. And our end cap, and pull these across. And let's loop this up. Let's take this one off the loom. We have one more column to do. Oh, don't break. I'm just going to take this off the loom while I can. I'll do that one in a second. There we go. Turn it over. Fix this up. There we are. And I'm going to budge this across as well, so that I can do my last column, which will be here. And then to just make it a bit secure, I'm going to put all of these back so that they are in the right spot, and push down. And let's do our last column, number 12. Do our end cap. Pull these across for the last time. And then we can actually loop up both of these columns because we're at the end. Oops, make sure you get both of the bands. And now we take all of these off our loom. Make sure that they're budged on enough. And this is what we're going to use to make his body. I'm going to pause the video, otherwise my recorder is not going to have enough room because this is a big tutorial. So I'll start up again in a minute. So now that we have his body outlined here on the hook, we're going to take 2 brown bands and we're going to slide all of these loops onto those 2 brown bands. And I have to say, this is the hook that I hate. It's really sharp, so bear with me on this. The trick is to keep these 2 bands tight. Hold them tightly. If you relax them, it relaxes here and they will fall off the hook and you will lose your bands. So I try and keep it as tight as I can. Which is tricky when you're moving the loops up. Just go slowly. Once you have all of them on here like this, you've got both sides of the bands, one on the hook, one on your finger. We're going to get his head, and the head is going to face forward because we're going to tie this off at his back. Okay, and so what we're going to do is place that forward and then take the two closest to us up, over and off, and pull tight like that. Now these bands here, what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to swap hooks first so I don't mutilate myself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to collect these little frilly bands at the bottom of his neck like that, and I'm going to thread these through to just sort of keep the neck in its spot. Okay, so I'm going to thread that through like that, and at some stage it's going to be attached down to the bottom, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that longer by adding another band, reclaim the end and do a slip knot like that, and this will get attached down here at the bottom as I link these in. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that for the time being, but that's his neck in here. Alright, now what we're going to do is gather up these little end caps that we had on the bottom of each of the columns. So it's 3 little loops that you're collecting up, and again we're going to slide these onto 2 bands. Reclaim the end. Now at this stage, if you wanted to, you could actually put this in between, so the band like that to hold the neck in place, because we're going to suture this up anyway. So take the ones closest to you, up, over and off like that. Okay, and we are going to be stitching this back up. To stitch it back up, what we're going to do is take a single band and do a slip knot. And then use your hook and go from the inside and grab the band and move it to the through like that. So push your hook through from the inside to the outside and push it through, and we're basically stitching it up as if it was a needle and thread, except we don't have a needle and a thread. There we go. And I know it's not going to be long enough, so I'm going to add another one to it, so that I have a bit more slack here. Again, going from the inside, back down through the middle like that. Oops, let's make sure I actually have the band. So again, moving from the inside to the out, pull the band through, so that you're closing up this gap. And our lucky last. Is there. And all I'm going to do is splay this out and pop it around his neck like that. Okay, and you can push his neck in a bit further if you choose, but that is effectively his body, his neck and his head. So now what we need to do is make his front paws, his back paws and his tail, and obviously his collar. So let's get started. Single loom. His paws are a single chain that you have the paws onto, and we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I thought it was 10. So you can do that using your loom, or you can do it without, but you are going to be double banding. So I'm going to start at the top here. Actually no, because it's 12, isn't it? So I'm going to start here. So 1, as I said, I'm double banding. 2, 3, I do these on the hook usually. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now for his paws, what we're doing is you're taking a couple of bands and wrapping them on and sliding them onto a double band. You're doing it 3 times. So I'm going to take 2 bands, wrap it once and twice, and I'm going to slide that onto 2 bands like that. Okay, and this is what's going to form his toes. Now that is tighter than how I have these ones. This I only wrapped around twice. It's completely up to you if you want him to have tighter paws or looser paws. It really doesn't matter. I thought I would try it with tighter paws this time. If you want the looser paws, you just take your bands and wrap it once like that, but I'm doing it twice. to see how it looks. Slide them on, take another 2, slide on. So as you can see, I've got 3 there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and pretty that up. It's looking a bit yucky. What I'm going to do next is take 2 bands, wrap once and twice, and I'm going to take another 2 bands, and this is like how we do our feet. I'm going to slide this on like that. Okay. I'm telling you big fibs. I'm going to take 2 bands and I'm going to slide these all on. And then I'm going to do the next bit that's like a shoe. Could you see the smoke coming out of my brain then as I was thinking? Alright, so reclaim the end of your band like that. Okay, and then we're going to take 2 bands, wrap it once and twice, and another 2 bands to slide that on, and then we're going to slide one side on like that, take this side off the hook and replace it with the other side just like we do with shoes, put that on, reclaim the end of your bands, and there you have his little foot like that. Okay, and that is going to sit here on the end, and we can just loop this up. Because it also acts as the end cap when we put it on the end like that. And let's take this off our loom. And there is his front paw. Okay, and that is going to just sort of sit about here, because you want it to be a little bit longer. So if you count down, you can see I've probably come down about 1, 2, 3. It's between 3 and 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, and there's 4. So it's about here. All right. Now to attach that, what I'm going to do is take a single band and loop it on itself like that. I'm going to pick the spot that I want it. So if you look here, I have 2 columns between, and he's on the 3rd and the other one's on the 4th. So I'm going to pick it about here. Alright, I'm going to put my hook through. Now, again, what I want is for this to be between those. So it gets a bit tricky because I'm going to want to, sorry, this is falling out of my hands as I'm doing this. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to go through one side, grab the 2 sets of bands, and then go through the other side like that, so that it's in between. Alright, then the band that I looped on itself, I'm going to drag through, making sure I don't drag all the other bands with it. There we go, drag that through. I'm going to do it on the underside, so grab it underside, take the 2 closest to me up, over and off, pull it into a slip knot, and then splay it out and pop his foot through, his little leg through, and that is going to sit here on his chest. And you can make it so that these are not twisted. I can see that those bands are twisted, which looks a bit funny. Funny weird, not funny ha ha. So that's going to sit there, and you're also going to attach it. If you can see on here, I've done the same thing down here. Alright, I've taken a bit of a loop and I've just attached it, but I'm using that loop to come out the bottom here to help with the tail. Alright, so I'm not going to attach that bit just yet. I'm just going to leave that, and we're going to do the other arm. So let's get our bands ready, because we need to do 10 pair. So skip the first 2 and come to here. Now I should add, I've used a whole packet of 600 brown bands nearly, so it does take a lot. So if you remember from here, we're going to take 2 bands, place them on your hook, wrap once and twice, and slide on to 2 bands and wait for a second. Another 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 bands and reclaim, and again one more time, once and twice, slide on and reclaim, and then we slide those onto 2 bands, like that, reclaim the end, and 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide on to 2 bands, and then let's move the first pair of loops onto those 2 bands that are on the hook, swap places with the bands on the hook with the other side, and move those up and over and reclaim. And there we have our little paw that you can angle. Slide that onto the end of the foot and we loop up. And take it off our loom. Move that out of the way for a second. And this is going to go the same side over here as the other one. And if you don't like where this has been placed, you can move it. Like I'm looking at this and I can see that this one is a lot closer to the center, and I probably should have had it here. But it's so easy to move, it's not a problem. So I'm going to take a single band and wrap it on my fingers. I'm going to take this off my hook. I'm going to find those 2 middle, and here's where I want to set it through here. Alright, so I'm going to go through one side, collect those loops, and then go through the other side like that. Drag this band through, flip the leg up, so I'm working underneath, do a little slip, oops, I lost one, come here, tricky, do that again. So I'm going through this side, I'm grabbing the 2 sets of loops there and then grabbing the other side, and I will pull this band through, flip the leg over, there you go, slip knot, stretch this out and pop the foot through like that. I know it looks a bit odd at the minute, don't worry too much, because once we've actually supported them in here it will actually look a little better. Alright, next we need to do his back legs and his tail. Okay, so to do his tail, again we're going to double band and we're going to go down 10 pair. You can do it on your hook or on your loom. I'm trying to be very good and do things on my loom. Put an end cap on the end here, single band, wrap it twice and pop that on there, and then dig down and just find those 2 bottom bands and loop up. And let's take this off. That is going to be his tail, which will go right about here. Okay, now in order to get that here, we're going to do the same as we did for his arms. So single band, figure 8, loop it on itself, find the spot on the back where you want his tail, and I would like it quite close to the very end here so that it can actually help stabilize him a little bit. I'm going to slip my hook out, leaving these 2 bands here with the loops exposed, and I'm going to go through one side. Now it's a bit tricky because this is where we sewed up, okay, so pick a spot to go through one side, collect your loops, and then go through another side like that, okay, and then we're going to grab that band that we just looped and let it go and drag it back through like this. Again, do it underneath, make sure you've just got the 2 loops. I've got an extra tag along there. Reclaim the end of your bands, one over the other like that, and you're going to splay this out and poke his tail through like so. So that's his tail. Now to secure his arms, I shouldn't say arms, his front legs, what you're going to do is take a band, and you probably actually don't need to loop it on itself, just take a normal band, work out where you want the legs to sit. So when he's sitting down, sit him down, approximate where you want them to be. Okay, I want it to be about here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my leg over and I'm going to just go through the bands here and take my single band and drag it through. I'm going to tie a very loose little slip knot here, alright, and that is where I'm going to pull through on my, from the underside. So I'm going to go through the underside hole here, work out where I want his leg to be. Okay, so if I want it to finish here, I'll grab that side of the loop of the slip knot and pull it through like that. Okay, there's the loop here, I shouldn't let go of it, and I'm going to just splay it out and pop it over the tail. Alright, so that's foot number 1. To do foot number 2, you're going to do exactly the same thing. So work out where you're going to put your little slip knot, single band, drag it through, do a loose little slip knot, because you don't want to deform the shape of the leg. Okay, and I might actually do it one little step up higher through here. A loose little slip knot like that. Position it where I want to see. Go through here, grab that loop, pull it through to the back. Now I can see that I've caught a straggler there, so I'm going to let that one go. And again, splay it out and pop it over the tail. Obviously it's bands, they're going to be a bit wonky. Alright, so that's how his front paws are going to be. We need to do his hind legs now, okay, and they're shaped like this and they help him sit. Okay, so let's do those next. What we're going to do is a single loom. It's going to be in the standard configuration, and you are going to have all of the, as I said, all of the columns the same height, open part of the peg facing towards you. We're double banding. We need to go down 4 pairs, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Here we're going from here to here, here to here, down, and this one I'm just going to move inwards like that, okay, and I'm going to do another one here from there to there, and 1 pair from there to there. Now on the end here we're going to do the same as we did for his front paws. Take 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 bands and reclaim the end of your bands again, because you've got to do it 3 times. Once, twice, slide on, reclaim, move down. Last time, once, twice, slide on, reclaim, move down, take 2 bands and slide all of these loops onto it. Reclaim the end of your bands like that. Now remember, we're going to do the little right angle, 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide on to 2 bands, and just like we do with the feet, take the 2 loops, slide them onto these 2 bands that are on the hook, and then swap places with your bands like that, and slide these ones on and reclaim like that, and that is going to sit here. Alright, let's do another set up here so that we can do both of these hind legs at the same time. We're going to need 4, so I mean, it doesn't really matter, you can start at the top for all that matters. 2, 3, 4, go to the side, 2 across here and 2 here. Now we do the foot part. Now I should also stress we need to put crossover bands here like that. Okay, so let's not forget those on either side. It's a single band that you just stretch across. So let's do the little foot, 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 bands. Let's do this another 2 times. 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 bands, 2 bands, slide once and twice, slide once and twice, twist round your hook once and twice, wrap round. Here we go. Reclaim the end, slide these loops all onto a pair of bands. Reclaim the end, and now we do as we do for a normal foot, 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 bands, move the first set of loops over, swap sides like that, move these ones over, reclaim the end of your bands, and there's our little foot. So we'll pop that there. Now that has acted as an end cap, so all we need to do is dig down and loop over like that. And you're taking the 2 top bands and looping them to the corresponding peg. Alright. And for those asking, yes, I will be doing the rest of the Scooby team. And they will not be this difficult. So there's the first one. Let's do the second one. Dig down, get the 2 top bands, put them to the corresponding peg. Which are the next 2? These ones here, the 2 top, move them across. The next top 2 go over to here, and the bottom 2 go up to here, bottom 2 go up to here. So let's take this off the loom. I'm going to use a single band and stretch it, wrap it round my fingers, dig my hook through here and grab this and just take this off the loom like so. Okay, now how I'm going to place this, I'll do it this side. I'm going to find out where I want his haunch to be, and his haunch is this meaty part here of his leg, and slide my hook down. So I want it about here. What I'm going to do, take my hook out so that I have these 2 just sort of sitting there, push my hook in where I want this to be. I'm going to recollect those 2 ends. Now it's a double loop, it's a looped band, it's looped on itself, so it's a bit tight. Okay, I want one side, whoops, so I'm going to hold on to this side, there we go. I want one side to go here, and then I'm going to reclaim like that and take the 2 closest to me up and over. I'm going to splay these out and pop it around like that. Okay, and then to keep it in place, because otherwise it's going to sort of look like he's cocking his leg on everything, what I'm going to do is again use a band, and I'm going to work out how I want it. So I'm going to do it probably about here. I'm I'm just going to dig under a few of these bands, drag this band through, do a loose slip knot like we did for his front ones. Again, there's my loop, go through the bottom of the ball for his body, drag that band through like that. Now you can either put it around his tail or you can put it around his foot like that. Okay, so that's one side of his leg. You can put it around his tail if you feel more comfortable with that, that's fine. Let's do the other side. So we're going to take a single band, figure 8, we're going to dig down, grab that band, pull it through, reclaim both ends so that we can take this off the loom. Okay, I'm going to move the loom out the way. We want to position it at about the same spot that we had the first one. Okay, so I've got him about here, so measure around where you're going to put it. It's going to sit about here. Slide one side, well, I'm going to slide both off. I'm pinching them with my fingernail like that so I don't lose them. Okay, I'm going to again measure where I want it to be, probably about here, I think. I'm going to take one side, I'm going to pinch this other side so I don't lose it, because I'm going to drag this little loop through here like that. Now I can see I've picked up a straggler. Have I? Nope, that's good. I'm going to reclaim my bands like that, spread them out one over the other into a slip knot, splay this out and put the foot through it like that. Okay, and then you're going to work out whereabouts you want the leg to be. Take another band, I'm going to just go through these bands here, I'm going to pull that through and I'm going to do a loose slip knot like that, position it where I want. So this one is about there, I want that one to be about there. I'm going to go through the inside ball of his body, grab the band that I'm using, pull it through. Now I've got two here, so let's see which one do I want. One is, that's the one. And slip it over his foot or his tail, really doesn't matter. Okay, as long as you can position his feet so that they angle outwards and then the front ones angle forwards, and you're sitting him up like this, okay, so that his feet are the ones that hold him up. Now all we have to do, and I'm looking at, yeah, that's right, there we go, angle his feet like that. All we now have to do is his collar, and that's blue and it has a little bit of yellow. To do his collar, I'm going to take two yellow bands and wrap them around my hook once and twice, and then take a blue band and slide that on. Reclaim the end of your blue band, and we're going to do this 8 times. I should also add, I have drawn the pupils on his eyes with a black Sharpie, just so you know. Now with this 9th one, we're going to reclaim the end of our band, and we're going to take the one closest to us up, over and off, and tie it in a slip knot. We're then going to place this around his neck with the yellow part at the front. Okay, that's going to be the tag of his collar. using your hook, slide it under the yellow bands and grab the end loop of your blue band that you tied off with and drag it through like that. Position the collar on his chest as you want it. Now all I'm going to do is poke my hook through his chest and out the other side like that, grab the blue band and pull it into the center of his chest. And let go of the blue band, and that is just going to keep it secure on his chest like that. And there, my dears, we have Scooby-Doo. He can sit up, roll over, play dead. He's 3D, and if you've made it this far, good on you. You are a fantastic loomer and I'm so proud of you. So I look forward to seeing yours. Take care.